Hi guys, my name is Maddie Thompson, and today I have the privilege of performing tests and exercise testing and prescription on my husband, Luke Kohler. Here's a picture of him I will attach. He is a 23-year-old male. He is 5 feet 11 inches. He's 189 pounds. He has a BMI of 26.36. His blood pressure is 110/78. His resting heart rate is 72 beats per minute. His waist to hip ratio is 0.84. His resting metabolic rate is 1,887 kcals per day. And his total energy expenditure is 3,408 kcals per day. And other facts, basic information about Luke is he is very active. He runs and goes to the gym 5 to 6 days a week. He loves snowboarding, climbing, and skateboarding. He works 2 jobs. One is more physically demanding in retail at a skateboard shop, and the other is more remote, so he is at a desk at his computer on some days. But other than that, he is really active, loves to be outside, loves to play sports. So yeah, let's go ahead and get started on his health screening and tests. So the health screening that we used for Luke today, that I used, was the PAR-Q screening, which is the easiest and most recommended for individuals that are filling it out for their own health assessment. So we did that. Luke answered no to all of the general health questions on page 1, which I will link below the video presentation. So this means that he is cleared for all physical activity. He has no absolute or relative contraindications, so no signs and symptoms of CMR. And then for the ACSM screening, he does participate in regular exercise, more than 150 minutes per week. So based on these results from his PAR-Q screening, as well as the pre-testing and pre-screening that we went through, he is able to continue moderate to vigorous exercise according to the ACSM screening questionnaire. And he also has no disease risk associated with this testing and all of his tests, so he should be good to go. So we will head over and start testing him, starting with the cardiorespiratory test. Okay, first test we're starting with is the cardiorespiratory test. What we did for this test was the Queen's College step test. And for this test, the why for this test, I think, is that it's a good way to really tell the client's heart rate response after doing something as far as movement or doing cardio, and it provides professionals the ability to see the heart rate max in the client, so how high their heart rate does get with cardio. Equipment used in this test is a step at 16.25 inches and a metronome, which can be found on the phone, and that's what we used. And that's it. So pretty simple. The population that this is geared towards is really anyone, but I think it's mostly used on sedentary population as far as research goes, and the things that I was able to see in the tests that have been conducted. Next is the push-up test. So this is what we decided to do for musculo fitness testing for endurance, muscular endurance. Why did I choose this? I chose this test because push-ups are really universal, and it's a great way to really look at overall fitness. You're using all your muscles in a push-up, and so being able to see how the client was able to do with this test, I was able to see his overall use of his muscles in the body and how they're able to endure through many repetitions. YMCA bench press is what I chose next for Luke. This test is to help look at musculoskeletal fitness as well, but this is the strength side of things. So looking at your muscular strength. Why did I choose this test? The biggest reason for this bench press test is that you're able to predict the max strength that a client can hold with this bench press test. And while it also does test endurance, it also helps us to see the strength of the muscles of the client. We can predict the 1 RM from this test, and it's just a good indication of overall strength in the muscles, especially with the arms. The equipment used in this is a bench, a barbell, and a metronome. And so we will head over and watch Luke do this bench press. For population wise, this is used mostly in the population of ages 18 to 70. Okay, this next test that I chose for Luke was the body mass index test. This is for overall body composition. Now this is used universally, and you can see it most likely in doctors' offices, where they're able to put in vitals and find the overall body mass index. And I think this is an interesting one because it's a good indication of overall health and risk disease. So a higher BMI correlated to a higher risk of disease. So in order to perform this test, for equipment we used a scale and a measuring tape to measure Luke's height and weight, which you will see in this next video. And the population that this is used for is really everyone, but it's focused definitely more on those that are at risk for disease, and it is discussed more with them as that can be a dangerous thing. So here's a video of us measuring Luke's BMI for body composition. Last but not least is flexibility and stability. This test that I chose for Luke was the back scratch test, which tests the ability of the shoulder to be flexible behind your back. And the equipment used for this was actually no equipment, which is nice, just your arms and your hands needed. And the why for this test would just be to measure the upper body and shoulder flexibility. And this is used mostly in the senior population, as this can be something that decreases with age in the flexibility of the shoulders and arms and joints. I will now go over the results of that test using the fitness assessment form, which I will also link below and show on the screen. And we will start with body composition results as well as the interpretations, and I will also go over the norms of each of these results and obtain percentiles to let you all know. So for Luke, his body composition, he had a BMI of 26.36. Now, according to the norms table, this would fall under the overweight category. And so this is something that we might want to look at lowering with a fitness program, which we'll discuss later. Second test, the muscular strength test, which was the bench press test, the YMCA. Luke was able to complete 28 reps, and this was putting him in the 50 percentile rank, which is average according to the norms table for the YMCA bench press. So for that, he is in a good range and has good musculoskeletal strength. His muscular endurance, which was the push-up test, Luke was able to complete 25 reps of push-ups, and this falls under the category of good with the push-up test norms. So this puts him in a good range for muscular endurance. And for the next test, flexibility and balance, Luke was able to complete the back scratch test, and on the right arm on top, so the right side, he was able to have 0.5 inches overlap on his fingers, which is great. And then on his left arm, he was able to have 0 inches between his fingers, and that put him in the 50th percentile when looking at the flexibility norms and stability norms with the back scratch test. So he is in a good range for flexibility, but can always improve as he is just in the 50 percentile range. Test that was done was the cardiorespiratory test, which was the Queen step test. Now Luke was really good at this test. This was his best test. He was able to get a value of 67.62, and this would put him in the category of superior for the way that his heart rate recovered from this cardio test. And this puts him in the superior range, so he has great cardiorespiratory health and is at low risk for any diseases that are associated with this certain part of the body. And those were the main results and interpretations from each of these tests. And we will now go over and I will tell Luke what his detailed exercise program will be according to the results of his testing. Here with me now, and I'm going to tell him what I prescribed him for his exercise plan. So we're going to start with the cardiorespiratory program, and so talking about your results, you were in the 95th percentile for cardiorespiratory, which is really good. But you did mention to me that you wanted to run a marathon in September. So that's what I prescribed for you, is to prepare to run that marathon. So I have a program that's going to last 19 weeks. And it's going to switch off between walking and jogging days, running and pickleball, because I know that you like to do that. And then also a couple of days where you play soccer, go swimming, hiking, as it's getting warmer. Awesome. And then on the 14th and 19th week, you'll just be walking and running mostly. Great. And that will get you to your marathon. And then for your resistance, for skeletal, you were in the 50th percentile, which is average. But I decided to prescribe you this for the resistance program to help maintain your muscular strength and endurance. And this will be for 11 weeks or 8 weeks. And it's just different workouts that will keep up your muscle strength and endurance, including barbell squats, arm rows, lateral raises, things like that. That will get all of your muscles, so your triceps, biceps, abs, back, all of that. And then the last one that I prescribed you is for flexibility and stability, because you were in the 50th percentile for this as well, which is average, but I think this is like the biggest thing that we can work on for you, is getting your flexibility up. And so this will be an 11, there's 11 exercises on here, so you can do them every week, 2 to 3 times a week, and these should help you to get more flexible with your exercises.
Perfect.
Thanks.
Amazing.
Thanks for following along.